Tonight we're talking about your dreams. You know, what are your dreams? What kind of dreams do you have for your life? What do you want to see happen in your future? You know, why do you put in all the effort when it comes to, you know, practicing an instrument or playing a sport or, you know, working hard in class to get your education, making sure you get good test grades? You know, all those things are important building blocks that lead up to our dreams being fulfilled. And without those things, you know, our dreams can very easily go unfulfilled. But I also want you to know tonight that, you know, there are other things that can inhibit your dreams from happening, from becoming real. You know, we're going to talk about a few of those things tonight. But before we go, I want to tell you a little story. On October 14th of 1947, there was an Air Force captain named Chuck Yeager. Does anybody have any idea what he did? He's famous. Does anybody have any idea what he did? No. Absolutely. Good job, Kelly. Good job. Yeah. Captain Chuck Yeager was an Air Force pilot, and he flew the X-1 rocket. It was a plane, but it was actually built with rocket engines. And the thing that's significant about that is that at that time, we had not broke the sound barrier. No pilot had ever gone faster than the speed of sound. And there have been several who had tried. But what happens is when you're in a plane and it's moving that fast, all of your instruments, all of your gauges, everything in the plane starts to shake. When you get to a certain speed, you hit turbulence. And when you get to the point of breaking the sound barrier, there's a shock wave, okay? And all those things combined throw these pilots off, and they kind of begin to wonder, is the plane going to hold together? Am I going to make it? You know? So most of the pilots that tried to break the sound barrier, this is what ended up happening. They'd get to that point, their instruments would freak out, and then they'd begin to say, whoa! And they would either throttle back, or they would leave the throttle right where it was. Okay? And they wouldn't press on. And what happened was their instruments and their gauges would be so messed up, so just off the charts, that they would lose control of the plane and they would end up crashing and dying. Several pilots lost their lives trying to accomplish what Chuck Yeager did. But the reason that he made it is this. When Chuck Yeager got to the difficult time, when he got to the problem, when he ran into that point where all the other pilots either stopped giving throttle or throttled back, he pushed forward. He gave it as much throttle as he possibly could. He pushed forward. Now those who were on the site at the Burrock Desert Test Center, those who were there, who were listening to what was happening, they saw him get out of sight and they heard a large boom. And they thought immediately, okay, we've lost another pilot. We've lost another plane. We've got to start over from scratch. But a short moment later, they heard over the radio these words. You won't believe how smooth it is on the other side. And in that moment, they knew that they had succeeded. They knew that they were the first crew and the first pilot to ever break the sound barrier. And in your life, there are going to be many firsts. Not only for you, but maybe even first for, who knows? If you're anything like Chuck Yeager, maybe a first for mankind. But there's going to be obstacles. There's going to be problems that you're going to have to face. And I want you to know today that with God, any of those can be overcome. Any of those can be overcome. It's so important for us to take heart and to know that no matter what we encounter, that God is with us and that He is for us. But the beautiful thing is, we need to remember what Chuck Yeager said and think about how smooth it will be on the other side. You know, God gives you those dreams for a reason. There's a purpose behind every passion. And when we're willing to surrender to that call on our life, when we're willing to surrender to those dreams that God's given us, when we achieve what it is that we so desire, we have to just think about how wonderful that experience will be. We have to think about that moment when we finally achieve what we've desired for so long. And we need to put that in front of us, and we need to keep our focus on that. Somebody will read for me Proverbs 12:11 at the top of the page there.
Those who work their land will have plenty of food, but the one who chases empty dreams is not wise.
It takes action. It takes action to accomplish your dreams. And this is straight from the Bible. This is Old Testament. This is Proverbs. Who wrote Proverbs? Who? That was a pretty good guess, because I always said that he wrote a lot of the Bible. No, the answer is Solomon, King Solomon, David's son, the wisest man to ever live. Okay? He wrote Proverbs. It's wisdom for daily life. It's wisdom for daily life. And in this proverb, he's saying, don't chase empty dreams, but work hard. Work hard to accomplish your dreams and to accomplish your goals. Number one, it's time to dream about my faith. It's time to dream about my faith. And I can remember the first time that God put a vision in my heart to see students surrender their lives to the Lord. I can remember the first time that God put a vision in my heart of being a youth pastor. I can remember the first time that God put a vision in my heart of, seeing a church grow, and seeing a youth ministry grow. I can remember all those things, and there's still dreams that I have in my heart that God has placed there about youth ministry. One is that, I have a dream one day to be a full-time youth pastor. To be able to stop working for Lowe's and to be able to spend my day serving the Lord and seeking out every opportunity for youth ministry for our church. And I believe one day God's going to fulfill that. This type of dream envisions what I might look like as a committed Christian. God's not going to fulfill a dream like that unless we're committed. We have to surrender our lives to Him. Because if we try to accomplish everything in our time and in our way, it's not going to work out. Because everything happens according to God's time and His plan for our life. And sometimes you might feel like there's a season of your life when God's not doing anything. Sometimes we call those the valleys. When you're in the valley and it doesn't feel like God's there, it doesn't feel like He's doing anything, and there's really something that you want to see happen or you want to achieve, but it just hasn't happened for you yet. For some of you it might be a relationship. You feel like you're right there on the verge of something great, you want to be in a relationship, you think you're ready for it, all those things, but it just isn't happening. For some of you it might be, making a team or, winning a championship. You feel like you've done all you can, all the preparation and all the prayer and everything you can do, but it just feels like maybe it's not your time yet. Everything happens according to God's timing. And the great thing about it is that it's at the time when it's going to bring you the most fulfillment and the most joy. So we need to be patient also. Somebody read Philippians 1:6 there.
God will do a good work in you, and He will be doing until it's finished with Jesus Christ comes again. I am sure of that.
So who's doing the good work in you? And who's going to finish it? Who's doing the good work and who's going to finish it? It's Jesus, right? He began the good work in us, and He's going to